Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Them Nerds. I am Tony, and on the other side of the screen is my good buddy Jerry. We are here today, necessitated by the recent news that Robert Pattinson is back on set to talk about The Batman. And I have to make sure I say The Batman because that's how they're differentiating it from every other Batman film they've ever made, I guess. Robert Pattinson is done dealing with COVID-19, and he's back on set. Things are rolling. We decided to revisit the trailer and kind of give our impressions. I will say for my part, I thought the trailer was great. I really enjoyed the way that it sort of blew away expectations, because I think a lot of people have had low expectations for this, and I think that after that trailer, I don't know if you can have low expectations. What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was amazing. I had lower expectations mainly because of Robert Pattinson, and I didn't know how well he was going to act. I've seen him in other things other than Twilight, which he has done very well in, so there was some hope there. But the Batman is such a different character than anything I've ever seen him play. I mean, when I've seen him do Dark and Menacing in Twilight, it wasn't very intimidating. So
Right. Yeah. If his only film credit was Twilight, I think I'd be a little less jazzed about it. But I've seen him do some pretty stiff, dramatic roles. So I think he'll be good. So let's start on the castings. I think Pattinson, I think both of us kind of agree he was a questionable choice, but I personally feel that he's going to do just great. I think seeing him in the scenes where he was Bruce Wayne, I think he comes off very well, like that kind of socialite, and in the scenes where he was in the cowl, I thought he pulled it off well too. He even has the growly voice, almost as good as Christian Bale's growly voice.
yeah.
So let's go down the rest of the cast. Next in the building, we have Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. What do you think of that casting?
I actually thought it was a great casting. I think that it gives a little bit of a nod back to the Eartha Kitt version of Catwoman. I also think that it gives the opportunity to maybe erase the horrible Catwoman movie that came out. And from the what's her name just escaped my mind. The last time we saw Catwoman on screen with Batman, which hopefully you can remember because I can't think of her name right now.
The only Catwoman that pops into my mind right now is the iteration we saw in Gotham, which I really liked. On screen, was Halle Berry the last time we saw Catwoman?
No, it's what's her name?
Oh, the one, yeah.
Devil Wears Prada. Who knows?
That girl.
She did a good job, but I don't know if they definitely utilized
Anne
her.
Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway, that's it. I don't know if I would definitely say that it was the best, version of the character either. I think that she definitely did a much better job than I was expecting, but still.
Well, it obviously wasn't that memorable of a performance if neither one of us could really remember who it was. We were like,
That's true.
Who is it? Whereas I can picture Michelle Pfeiffer's entire, performance, and I can remember tons of moments from Gotham, where I think Catwoman was played a little more effectively.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Zoe Kravitz, I think, is going to be great. I think she and Robert Pattinson will inevitably probably be love interests, and I think that it's a good pairing. I think it's going to look
I also
good on
think that
screen.
she's shown a lot of growth in her acting. When I saw her just recently in Big Little Lies, she actually did a very impressive job. So I think that she's definitely acting chops wise. She's up there.
Right, yeah. Next down the list, we have Paul Dano as the Riddler. I'm not super familiar with this guy. I remember him from There Will Be Blood. And based on some interviews that I've seen with him and remembering his performance in that role, I think he can pull off the kind of slightly insane, creepy villain.
Yeah, he always has that kind of clown from It kind of personality when I've seen him around, so I think he would do pretty well in it.
Yeah, I agree. Next up, Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Didn't see that coming.
Not at all. But in the trailer, when you saw him in the full makeup, I'm like so blown away and so excited. They made him look completely different. I cannot wait to see how he plays this character on screen.
I think it must have been similar to like, people our age when Batman Returns came out and they announced that Danny DeVito was going to play the Penguin. People probably were like, "What? Like, how did you even come up with that idea?" And then you see him and he's the Penguin.
It was great.
When I saw this, it reminds me a lot of the Gotham games. That's the way that the Penguin is his appearance is. It looks more like that.
Right. Not as cartoonish.
No,
like
more like a gruff crime boss.
Right. When we saw Danny DeVito as the Penguin, it was similar. Like, it was kind of a callback to the Adam West TV series version of the Penguin, but it did have that kind of darker edge. He was a little crazier, a little more evil, and I think that's why it was so memorable. And I think this version, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it might be the best version we see. It looks really good to me. Next up, one that I'm pretty excited about, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
Who's a great actor.
Right, Westworld. He's got the chops. I think he's. I can really see him playing the like, sort of, confused and exhausted normal person in this city full of like superheroes and supervillains just like destroying everything. I think he's going to be great.
And really, I mean, if you think about it, this is another DC Marvel characters where they share in that same world, because he'll be playing Commissioner Gordon, and in Marvel I believe he's going to be playing the voice of the Watcher for the What If series.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Playing double duty.
Yeah.
And speaking of someone who's going to be playing double duty in Marvel and DC's film universes, next casting we have is Andy Serkis as Alfred. Of course, in the Marvel universe, he played Ulysses Klaue. He was great in that role. I love that role. What do you think about this casting as Alfred?
I actually think it's a great idea. He's a very versatile actor. I mean, unless I'm completely wrong, I'm pretty sure he plays ape in Planet of the Apes, and he plays a Gollum. He's just like a man of many voices. I think that he can definitely take it, especially things though. There's the whole version of Alfred where he's a little bit more street savvy, like a special agent.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a cool avenue to go down.
Sure. I loved how Gotham, the TV series, portrayed Alfred as kind of this like don't sleep on him because he'll take you out.
Yeah.
And of course that necessitated, I think, the series Pennyworth, which I don't think really gained much traction. But this casting and the way that it seems like they're going with Alfred, I'm into it. I like it a lot. And finally, maybe a minor role. We're not sure yet. He's low on the cast list. But John Turturro as crime boss Carmine Falcone. How do you feel about that one?
I don't know much about Carmine Falcone other than from Gotham. I believe they talked about him a lot in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah. I think that anytime you have this like archetype of a crime boss, John Turturro is a great choice. Especially as he's getting older, he really has that kind of vibe. I dig it. I think that's cool casting. I'm super excited for this whole cast. Like every casting I've seen, I'm like, of course, Colin Farrell right off the bat, I was like, what? But after seeing him in the trailer, I'm like, yeah, 100%. I'm sold. So, The Batman, which I guess is still scheduled to come out next year.
Yeah, 2021 or $0?1 as the trailer has it.
Yes. You can't just put random punctuation marks and think people are going to know what you're talking about. Anyway, which brings me to a little bit of a kind of a roundabout here. We've been seeing news about Henry Cavill signing a new 3-picture deal to reprise his role as Clark Kent and Superman, which means that they are not abandoning what they've already done in the DC film universe. We've also heard that Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman, And Michael Keaton is coming back in some capacity, hopefully in his original Batman cowl, in the Flash film that's upcoming. It all seems to be pointing to a very interconnected sort of multiverse, right?
Yeah.
How do you see this playing out? Do we include the TV series in this? What do you see happening with this multiverse?
Well, I had heard that the team around this idea of creating this multiverse was saying that not only was Flashpoint going to cause the multiverse to be open, but that the TV series with the grouping of the Crisis on Infinity or Infinite Earth, also because the Flash from the movies showed up in there, that it would acknowledge and also change that world also.
Right.
So I think that it's just, my guess is that you have the ability to really broaden the same way that Marvel's going to be doing with this opening this universe to infinite possibilities of, you lose a character, but do you really lose a character? You can just pull another character out from a different world. Right. So, I think that, it's an opportunity to that. I don't think that Ben Affleck was as bad of a Batman as people made him out to seem. Mm-hmm. And so I think that I didn't like the idea that we're just going to reboot after one movie for anything. Right. Like, it didn't make a lot of sense. You didn't give the opportunity for these characters to really grow and for people to be connected to them. They probably pushed the Batman versus Superman a little too early. They probably pushed the Justice League movie a little too early. They needed to build and have people more cemented with the characters they had. And I think they were just trying to force feed it to try to really challenge Marvel.
Right. Yeah, and I was really hypercritical of DC's approach because what was working so well for Marvel was to build individual stars and bring in other members of the team through those films. We ended up meeting Black Widow, for example, through an Iron Man film, and they didn't do that very well, and I didn't like it. But if they pull off this multiverse thing, it's going to make me pull back on that criticism a little bit because I don't think they've been planning this the whole time, honestly. No. But I do think that they saw an opportunity to change course and make things a little more cohesive, and it seems like they're doing that.
Yeah, I think that they started seeing a lot of appeal with doing these solo films that garnered a lot of attention, like The Joker, that is kind of a standalone picture, but is it really a standalone? We don't know. I really feel that at some point they're going to connect that Joker into the world of either Ben Affleck's Batman or the Robert Pattinson's Batman. Totally. But you also have the Harley Quinn movies that they've been making that really give an opportunity to build upon these smaller characters that they could introduce other characters into it also and allow the universe to be built bigger that way. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
You mentioned the Joker. It's been rumored that Joaquin Phoenix has been offered a 2-picture deal to the tune of $50 million, which is interesting because Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman, has said that he sees the Joker as the main adversary in the second and third films in the trilogy that he's planning to make with Robert Pattinson behind the cowl. If those two pieces of information were to line up, and we were to have this rogues gallery that includes, Colin Farrell's Penguin, Paul Dano's Riddler, and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, you're building a pretty strong cast of villains.
Yeah.
And, that's always been a strong point for Batman is his villains. He's always had really interesting villains, at least in my opinion. And I don't know. I would love it to see that Joaquin Phoenix was going to reprise that role. And, maybe there will be a big time jump. Because when we left the Joker, he wasn't like a crime boss. He was starting to see the chaos that he could cause, and you could tell that it was like doing something for him. So it'd be kind of cool to have like a time jump, especially since Bruce Wayne was so young in that film. If you did like a 20-year time jump, that could be age appropriate for Robert Pattinson to be Batman, and for Joaquin Phoenix to be a bit older and have kind of fallen into the role of being the leader of this crime syndicate or whatever.
Yeah, I'm excited to see whether or not there'll be hints of other characters that maybe you're not seeing on screen, but you see that they still exist within that world.
Right. So lots of cool stuff happening over on DC's side of the comic book world. And I think we'll delve into that a little bit more in a future show. But I think that just about does it for us today on Them Nerds. Please don't forget to click subscribe. Is it down there? Is it down there?
It's in one of those spots.
This right here is our social media stuff. So you should definitely follow us on social media. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at We Them Nerds. Don't forget that we are with you for sure every Tuesday. We're for sure with you every Thursday for Throwback Thursday, film, TV, video game reviews. And we are for sure with you on Fridays for Fantasy Friday. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon. Don't forget to
like and subscribe.
That's it. All right. Be good. Be good to each other. Thank you.